where we go, but we're live and we're going to put a countdown down, but you'll see us in a few seconds.
Sorry about that, folks. But here you go.
And now we're live. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Comic Book Weekly, the show where we talk about our top 5 favorite books we're anticipating, news, and a whole bunch more. I'm Chris, Dark Avenger C86. Next to me is Cat Comic Uno.
Hey, guys.
And then below me is Bram Fowler.
What's up, everybody?
Press.
Yeah.
And many other things. Torch Night. Very happy about the puzzle being funded, Bram. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. We'll definitely talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, thank you so much.
So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Kat. We got lots of news to talk about this week.
We do, because we did skip last week. We warned you guys. We let you know that in this month, we're taking 2 weeks off. So last week was one of the weeks we're taking off, and the last week of June. So you got us for like another 2 weeks, and then we take a little bit, one more break, and then we'll continue our regular showing here. And thank you, Ron. Welcome to the show, and everyone for saying hi. And we are going to jump into the news. So we are going to start out with some media news, because again, this is news for the 2 weeks and last week we missed as well. But Chris was telling me that Fortnite had a special character introduced here. So why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
So last night, Fortnite Season 7 began. For those of you who play Fortnite, and right now we've got the big Batman Fortnite crossover. If you've been collecting those codes, at the end you get an armored Batman. Well, this season is all about invasion, aliens. And when you say aliens, you know who we think about as a superhero, Superman. They announced that Superman will actually be in this season. He is the side character. What they do is they have a season pass, which is basically the entire season. You earn up to level 100. You unlock everything on the season pass. But they also have a side character. So in the middle of the season, they drop a side pass, which I believe you have to be a part of the season pass to get. But the side pass are side quests that allow you to unlock a special extra character with extra skins to that character. So this season, like I said, it's invasion. They got Rick and Morty. They got a lot of aliens around. So Superman, since they did so well with DC last season when they added Raven and then they put in Batman, Deathstroke, so many other characters, they decided to continue the DC trend with Superman. I'm guessing that Supergirl might be available. This is a hypothesis. I'm guessing maybe they'll put Supergirl in. They might put Crypto in as a backpack, because they have the animals that you can wear as a backpack. Yeah. But they're going to have Superman in the game. They're going to have Clark Kent. And then the alt costume will be a black and silver costume. And Clark Kent in a darker suit costume to go along with the darker cape. There's pictures, everything. It's going to be great. It's coming out August 12th is when that part of the Battle Pass will start unlocking. But I thought it's great. I think it's really great that Fortnite is still collaborating with DC Comics. They didn't do too well when they did the Aquaman season. So I feel like they're really redeeming themselves hardcore, especially after the really great Marvel season they had with Galactus.
Yeah, and I played it a little bit today, and obviously Superman is not available yet, but Fortnite is so different than when it first began.
Isn't it?
Yeah, because you have a lot of NPC characters, non-playable characters now that you have to fight, and now there's because of this alien invasion, they have these outposts with all these military guys, and they're coming at you, and at the same time you got to deal with all the actual players coming at you. So it adds a whole different level of complexity to the gameplay, but it makes it more fun, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I had a blast. I actually got my first victory second match in. So
yeah, I got my first one yesterday for season 6. So then you
didn't get one for season 7 yet? Oh,
not yet. I came in third.
Good. The umbrella is so good. It's a UFO. This season.
Yeah, that's how I came. No, I came in second. There was 3 of us left, and this guy was flying a UFO, and he took out the one guy, and I'm hiding in a freighter, and I'm like, oh god, and he was flying saucers coming after me. It took me out, so I came in second.
Yeah, they're gonna probably have to drop the flying saucers halfway through the season. They're too OP at the moment. It's very easy to cheat your way to victory.
I didn't even know you could do that. I don't know where to get them. I was looking.
The bases you just talked about have.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I didn't look hard enough, so watch out for me.
So that's the Fortnite news of the week. I'm sure there'll be more announcements as August comes closer, but we are moving on to, this is announced when we were off, but Aaron Taylor Johnson is going to be playing Kraven the Hunter, and that's his own movie. We knew about that movie already. We didn't know who was cast. So he's a guy who definitely transforms himself for a part. We've seen it many times, from Kick-Ass to Quicksilver. So I'm not worried. I think he could do well with the job. So I'm semi excited for this one, more than some of the other villain Spider-Man movies that have been announced in the past, like Morbius. I'm not excited for.
He's definitely got some range, the actor, and he's jacked. I mean, he can pull off Kraven, I think. So, and yeah, it's an interesting choice, but I'm curious to see what he does with the role. And if they're doing anything close to Kraven's Last Hunt, or going after Spider-Man, that's a classic story. So you want to do that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm sure they will definitely touch upon beats from that story.
Yeah.
Now, moving into the next thing, which is the first look at Jensen Ackles for The Boys. So I'm going to screen share that so we can see what it looks like. So he is going to be on The Boys. I don't personally watch the show, but, to see this actor as a superhero, I'm sure people are excited. So that is the first look. So, Brant, What do you think?
I think it looks cool. I mean, all the boys' outfits look cool. I did watch the whole first season, and I think maybe one episode of season 2. But I love Jensen Ackles, and he's got a long history with superhero and sci-fi and supernatural shows, and I mean, no pun intended there. But he was on Smallville. He was on obviously Supernatural and Dark Angel. So he's got that connection, that history. He's cosplayed as Red Hood before. So it's like a perfect fit. He looks good in it. So yeah, I'm psyched for it.
I'm looking forward to it as well. He is Red Hood. I don't care what anybody says. They make a movie. He needs to be Jason Todd.
I agree.
And Mike Manhattan said he also voiced Batman in Long Halloween. Yeah, he definitely has a lot of comic book connections for sure. And Sweet Exorcist said, although I like the choice, I would have preferred a seasoned actor for Kraven. I would have loved to see Keanu Reeves play a villain. I feel like Aaron is a pretty seasoned actor. He's been in a lot of stuff for a long time.
When I think like physicality, I'm thinking like I can't ever pronounce his name, Joe from Magic Mike.
Oh yeah, Magic.
Yeah. It's like that dude. That would be an imposing figure there. But yeah.
Also a big fan of like geek culture as well. Like he has his own like D&D club. Like I don't know, he's like really big into D&D. But yeah, I think that would have been cool as well. But so especially depending on where they're going, because he is a younger actor, this guy, compared to like Joe or Keanu. So I guess they're trying to go a little younger for Kraven. I guess they have plans for him. So moving on to the last media news piece, which is that Jessica Drew is joining Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 with Issa Rae, who actually started out as like a YouTuber. She did Awkward Black Girl, and then got her own show with Insecure, and she was a sketch comic, and now she's doing Jessica Drew, which is really cool. And I'm excited. I like the actress, and I think it's cool that they're adding Jessica Drew into the movie. I'm so excited for it. Into the Spider-Verse is one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie. So I'm stoked for the sequel.
Yeah, it was a fantastic movie, and I'm excited because I love Jessica Drew. Just adding her into the mix, it just makes sense, and it's cool, and I can't wait to see, her animated like that. So it'll be cool.
Mm.
We do have a question from Mike Manhattan. Anyone seen Sweet Tooth? I did not.
I saw the picture of the character. I'm not really a big Sweet Tooth fan, so I won't be watching that.
Yeah, I couldn't get into the series when it came out. The comic book series. I think I read like 3 issues of it, and it just I don't know. Jeff Lemire's stuff is not my speed typically.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against him. I mean, he's a good. He's a very talented creator. It's just not my speed, and so that didn't. I don't know. I just don't have a huge interest to watch it personally.
Same. That's not my favorite title from him, for sure. So moving on to some comic news here, I thought this was interesting. Marvel's teasing the death of Doctor Strange. You know, you have the sequel movie coming out. There's so many deaths, especially because they're teasing that Hellfire Gala is going to have a death as well, with Magneto killing that person. What I thought was more interesting than Doctor Strange's death here, is who's going to be the next Sorcerer Supreme, like the hunt for that. I'm actually kind of curious
Voodoo?
with that.
Didn't they say Dr. Voodoo became Sorcerer Supreme for a while?
He did in the comics.
He did, but doesn't mean that he will for this. So I'm curious to see, will that happen? Will it be someone else? Like, I'm curious.
It could be Scarlet Witch.
Could be Scarlet Witch, which would be really smart with her, popularity. So I'm excited. I'm actually interested in this story. Again, more for the consequences than the actual fact that he's dying.
Yeah.
He'll be back in about 5 years. Tops.
Or less.
I think less, yeah. Like
a year.
Oh, I'm giving it 5 because I'm being gracious. But yeah, he'll be back. Whenever he dies, it's a matter of time.
He just started the school. He's gonna die.
Maybe somebody from Strange Academy will come up as the next.
Dr. Voodoo's there, so he's one of the teachers. So is Magic. So there's a lot of choices in the magical side of Marvel. It could be so.
Could be anybody. So let's get into the next topic here, which is Inferno will be the follow-up to House of X and Powers of X. So we finally get a little more information about this new miniseries. I don't know if it's a miniseries, but it's a new Jonathan Hickman book. And I'm interested in this. I'm also curious if this is like the end of the Hickman era. Are we like leaning towards the end of it?
Yeah. I mean, it seems like well, maybe it seems like an end game. Like, I mean, if what they've teased and built up with Mystique happens and she burns Krakoa to the ground, I don't know where they go from there. That seems like a pretty finite, conclusion to the whole Hickman run. But yeah, it could be just like the next, the bridging the gap to the next thing. Who knows? Mm-hmm. It's interesting though.
I'll be reading it.
Oh yeah, of course. That article kind of talked about it. They've been, playing a dangerous game with a dangerous woman, and yeah, every time they deny bringing Destiny back, it's like, oh my god, do you realize who you're dealing with here? This is Mystique. This is not, somebody you can just ignore and put off like that.
So the next thing that we got going on here is that Wildstorm's Zealot returns to comics. So Brent, you wanted to discuss that.
The only thing I wanted to say about this is the funny thing about it is that's my least favorite character from Wildcats.
I
don't
know much about him or them.
That tells you I don't remember the character.
Yeah, I believe she dated Grifter for a while. In Wildcats, if you ever read Wildcats, Chris, I don't know if you did or not, Kat.
I have, but I'm trying to remember.
She's the one with the two swords, kind of a red bathing suit kind of look with the yeah. So that's her, and she just wasn't my favorite character in Wildcats, and so it's like, okay, that's interesting. I love that they're still playing with those Wildstorm characters because some of them I do really like.
I'm waiting for Mr. Majestic.
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying. I'd rather see others than Zealot.
They teased Mr. Majestic at least in that miniseries a while back before the New 52 ended.
Yeah, and Grifter was there too, and they've brought Grifter in to post New 52, and maybe they'll continue with other characters too. I'd love to see Spartan or Voodoo from Wildcats as well.
That'd be fine.
So next up is creators all over the world are going to be collaborating for a Batman story called Batman the World. So what do we think about this? It's another... I think it's interesting because we're getting to see creators. Also, my colorist from Haunting Like Folly Daughter is going to be contributing to it. But creators from all over the world and like new creators. But it's like 160 pages. I'm like, oh man, I don't know if I want just like all these Batman stories for 160 pages.
Myself to that. Comics.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on this show that watches the show regularly knows how we feel about, especially DC and Marvel anthologies. They're, they're hit and miss, and sometimes they're really good. Sometimes it's just a few stories but the cool thing about it is because you're getting creators from so many different countries and they're releasing the book in all these countries on the same day, right? So it's like simultaneous release, and it's gonna, I think it's a cool concept. It's just that's a lot of Batman. So.
And yeah, what are the stories going to be? I feel like they're not going to be too game changing, and like you might really like one story and really not like the other, and like that's a big issue of anthologies. So I kind of wish they just kept it tighter. I just think it's way too long.
Yeah, or done it like in a mini series, like do like 4 or 5 stories in each issue or something, or 3 or 4 stories, something like that. Yeah, that might have been a better format, but.
It's a little bit of a harder sell now. I don't know if I'm going to get it on, in all honesty.
How much what's the price?
Let's see the price tag. Let's look. I know it came out in the Slitzit, so I would
probably got to be at least 10.
At least 10, maybe 15.
Yeah.
It's 184 pages. I am so sorry. I thought it was 160.
So
then it's 15.
Yeah, it has to be. It doesn't say the price, but I'm sure it's like
13 to 15. Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah, that's crazy.
I won't be reading that. I've got too much else to read.
That's what I'm saying. We read so many books. It's kind of hard to commit to an 184 page story. It's cool. I applaud them for doing it. But
I think it's cool for like the more casual readers. Like I think people that don't go into the comic book store every Wednesday and they're like, oh, that's a cool looking book, and have a little bit more time to read. Because like the Wednesday Warriors, they want to read all in 1 week as well, just like us. So I think for people that are more casual, it'll be more of a fun read for them.
Yeah, it's interesting to note that article said that they did not do stories from the United Kingdom or Canada, which I thought was interesting. It's kind of weird.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Why did they say, oh, no UK or Canada?
Right.
They could have just added them in.
Yeah.
Then it'd be 200 pages.
Right. That's why. They were like, oh, we forgot Canada and the UK. Yeah, right. We don't have room anymore. We'll get them in the next one.
We have the name changes. Says I commend DC for doing it. Could showcase some fresh talent. I do agree with that.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's a hardcover. Mike Manhattan asks, Batman Earth 1 Volume 3 comes out tomorrow. Anyone getting that? I think I only read the first volume.
No.
I think I have the first 2. Yeah, I do have the first 2, and I have the three Supermen, so I might actually get Volume 3.
If that book's a hardcover, our price estimates are low, by the way. We got to shoot that up if it's going to be a hardcover.
Oh, that's true. It's probably
like 30, yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot. So we are going to move on to our main topic of today, which is that there are new creative teams for Venom and Hulk. And the creators are pretty much switching books because we got Donny Cates on Hulk with Brian Ottley, and then Alan Wing and Brian Hitch on Venom. So we wanted to ask, will Venom be the next Immortal Hulk? Will Alan Wing kind of take a same approach where he really just redefines the character? So
I would love a darker Venom. That would be so cool to have a horror-esque Venom.
Yeah, and honestly, I thought, Stegman and Donny Cates already kind of gave us that vibe. So I'm curious, like, they already redefined Venom. How do you redefine Venom again?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we know there's a new status quo for Eddie Brock, of course. So, I mean, the sky's the limit with what they can do with it. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see if they do take it in a completely different direction than we've seen before, which would be cool. That's what they did with Hulk, so...
Yeah, I think it's going to be, I mean, if any creators are taking over these titles, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm excited. I'm not a huge fan of Brian Hitch's artwork, though, so I don't know about the Venom art, but I'm really excited for Hulk, like Alan Wing and Ottley.
I think Brian Hitch can do amazing work. Like, he was great when he was doing the Ultimate Universe titles. And other titles, I think he was rushing. You can tell. And especially when he's writing and drawing.
That's 100% true.
Yeah, his work seems a lot more rushed. But hopefully, they've had this in planning stages, and he's been able to take his time with it. I'm fingers crossed. But I'm, really excited to see what Cates does with Hulk. I mean, that's just... I'm so excited about that because you guys know I didn't read Immortal. I couldn't get into that. But... Donny Cates, I'm really liking what he's doing at Marvel, so I'm pumped for that.
We'll see if Brian Ottley stays on the book for more than just one arc.
5 issues.
5
Done.
issues, and then he's
At least
gonna,
five.
watch. I'm calling it, and then he's gonna walk away from the project.
Or 4 issues, skip an issue, another issue,
and then
skip
leave.
another issue, 2, and then finish it up at like issue 8 or something.
Let's hope that does not happen. I'm also curious to see if the Hulk family is going to be involved, because that was a big part of Immortal Hulk. Like,
Right.
I also think that's what makes Hulk the title it is. So hopefully that's included. And also knowing Cates, he's done it with Thor already, and he kind of did it with Venom. So I don't see it not happening.
That's the thing. You find a writer that can take these characters and breathe new life into them and do something completely different with them, and you just want them to keep doing it to all your major characters, and that's exactly what he's doing, and that's just so cool to see. We've probably count on your hand how many times you've seen a creator be able to do that. Bendis comes to mind when he was first at Marvel, Jeff Johns, and Donny Cates. So. Great companies in there. I think, did I freeze or did Cat freeze?
Cat froze.
I did.
Okay.
I think
So
I froze.
That's what I was waiting. I was waiting to see if it
I don't
was
know
me
if I'm
that
still
froze.
freezing or not, because I do not see Chris at all.
Okay. We can
I
see and hear
now.
you.
We're good. He's good now. All right. We're all set.
Okay.
I kind of heard what you were saying, but I agree.
You agreed to what you heard.
Whatever I heard. Any other thoughts on the Hulk and Venom topic?
I'm gonna be picking both of the new issues.
Absolutely.
Check out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm stoked. I think this was a very good idea for Marvel, and there was a big question mark for both these series. So yeah, why not switch up the writers?
I'm glad they're not
and see
ending
what they can
Venom.
do?
We thought it was over for Venom. At least they're continuing him.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think I figured that they were going to have another ongoing, but like, was it going to be, the ongoings we have of the past, or is it going to keep redefining the character?
True.
Tizzy the Great asks, what issue is it? The next issue that's coming out?
It's
No, the volumes
in
are ending.
September. Yeah, the volumes I think
September.
are completely ending. Yeah. Did you guys hear about the sales of Spawn Universe issue 1? I haven't, but I'm
I
guessing.
haven't, but pretty good, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
I
guessing
bought
they were
one.
just very good. I did not. I did not buy that one.
Yeah, me either.
Well, I mean, can't buy everything.
Tebby has a good question. Where do you go with Hulk after being immortal? That I don't know. I really don't. I think it really depends on how Immortal Hulk issue 50 ends.
Yeah.
Exactly. Maybe
That's-
losing
yeah,
that
it's-
immortality or something.
Right. Yeah. If he goes back to that status quo, which most writers do, kind of bring characters back to some form of a status quo before they hand it over. That seems like the logical place to go. That he's once again mortal, but was he ever mortal? They kind of, as from what I understand, they established that he was always immortal in Immortal Hulk.
Did, yeah.
So, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know where you go with them after that, but I trust the hands that are taking him there. So
I should also mention, because I forgot to mention, Ram V is also going to be helping Aluing with Venom, which is cool because we've really only seen Ram V at DC, who's doing like Just the Dark and stuff like that. So I think it's interesting that he's moving to Marvel and kind of making his name known everywhere, which is cool.
yeah.
Definitely.
We also have a question from Tevia. Did you guys hear about Jupiter Legacy being canceled?
Yep.
I think I know Bran only watched the first episode. I didn't watch any of it.
I don't care about any of it.
Exactly, same. So
I mean, I liked the first episode well enough, but now that it got canceled after one season, it's like, do I really want to watch the rest of it?
I'm curious about the Millar Netflix deal. If that was his first show that came out and he has all these other shows planned for Netflix, are they going to do well?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't lead with what was it? The Magic
Order. Magic Order.
Yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was a really good comic series, but I don't know.
Better ones.
Yeah, exactly. So, if this one tanked that fast, it makes me worried. We'll see.
And it was trending. It was trending places. So like, I guess those numbers must have really not what they expected.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what the reason being is, and it was if I could put my finger on it, I would say it's like in between two major audiences. You have like your Marvel and DC that's kind of more family entertainment, even though it has, your action and violence and all that stuff. It's still more family driven. And then you have The Boys, which is like so mature and extreme. And Jupiter's Legacy was right in the middle, So it's like it had a bit of edge, but not enough to be boys. And it was just a little too edgy to be family. So maybe it just didn't resonate with either audience.
With the right, it didn't have a proper audience.
The name changes says I don't Netflix, so they did not.
Well, there you go. Yeah,
they did not Netflix that one. But yeah, that was all the news pieces. So we're gonna go into our plugs in the middle of the show, and then we'll go to under the radar. And also, I think we have our top 5. Which I actually didn't do the list up yet. It's been such a busy day. No, but I can do it as you guys do yours. I figure out mine.
The way I'm approaching this, we are doing a bonus topic. It was a Kickstarter reward. We'll talk about it a little bit, but the way I'm approaching it is these aren't my top 5 of all time. There are 5 that I really like.
Oh, so
that's I actually on my list. One of them, I think only one of them. I tried to keep the ones there that they're still going on. Only one book ended so far.
I did 2 current, 1 that comes back in miniseries, and 2 that are a little bit older. That's
I tried to keep it current so people can check it out still.
Yeah,
the one is over.
Yeah, the ones that I picked, I'm pretty sure people can find. So that's But we'll get to that. So we got a packed show for you guys, but let's get on to those plugs. Kat and I both have Kickstarters going on right now.
We both have Kickstarters going on. Yeah. You are correct.
And you just hit your funding goal. So congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, $10,000, which is.
Do you want me to go first while you're?
I think she does.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. Okay. Yes. I wanted to make sure.
That's great, but I mean, you could just talk first.
Yeah, exactly.
100%. I definitely love the cat. Congratulations, but
yeah, we'll get there. So I've actually got one that we're running that's ending in a couple of days, which I'm going to share. Where'd it go? There it is.
Where did it go? We don't know. There it is.
You guys, yeah. So this is Legendary Lands, Wonderland, and Neverland Jigsaw puzzles. Under 36 hours to go. This is my wife, Lisa. This is mainly her pet project, but I'm obviously definitely involved. This is the first release from Torchlight Games. We got these 2 gorgeous puzzles by artist Laurent Rice. And like I said, we are fully funded. We are actually almost 1,000 overfunded, so that's really cool. Over 100 backers. Thank you so much for everybody that has supported it. But if you are a puzzle fan and you're a fan of Alice in Wonderland or Peter Pan, go check these out because these are gorgeous puzzles, 1,000 piece, really sturdy linen finish. They connect together really well. There's actually a video on the page of our manufacturer picking up the puzzle completely put together and it not falling apart, which is really cool. There's Lisa holding the Wonderland one. So go check that out. And you can get one, both, or multiple copies of both. So that's fun. And real quick, I am involved with another one that is an anthology project called Not So Fairy Tales, a Fractured Fairy Tale Anthology, which is also doing really well right now. If I can share that one. There it is. Yeah, so this has been being run by a friend of mine, John Eddingfield, and our goal is 12,000. We are at almost 10.5 right now. There are a ton of stories from a ton of creators, and Lisa and I actually have a story in this. There's a little sneak peeks of each of the stories on the page. I'm trying to scroll down to mine, which is right there. Labor of Love, based on the old woman that lived in the shoe with all the kids and everything. So you can check that out. Russell Nolte is another creator in this one, if you're familiar with him. There are so many talented creators and so many cool stories, twisted takes on fairy tales. So if you are into that, go check that one out. It is live for 21 more days.
Awesome. So I do have Kickstarters, webtoons, stuff like that. And thank you for the congrats, Snatch Face. I appreciate that. We also have some other questions, but we'll go through those after I discuss this. I also did my top 5 under the radar. That was so exciting. Nice. Oh, during all that. I was listening. I've also heard the pitch many times from Brant. So yeah, I will screen share my Kickstarter, which has 16 days left. And that is Haunting Like Father, Like Daughter, the crossover issue 1. It is Haunting Like Father, Like Daughter finally crossing over. And Haunting's about a young boy who has ghosts following him and doesn't want to take that responsibility. And Like Father, Like Daughter, it's about a high school girl. Father left her to become a full-time superhero. Everyone in the world loves him except for her. And then she inherits his abilities. Like Brand said, we actually were just funded, which is crazy, but we have a lot of great stretch goals, and we'll spoil a stretch goal here. Our first one is that everyone who's backs physically gets a free trading card. So we actually have hollow trading cards as well. So it's going to be every 1 out of 6 cards, you get a hollow card. And that's Bram, Casey, or the Mean Girl. The Stephanie, Faith, and Wes are regular cards. And yeah, we're printing a lot of those, and we're super excited. I think we're aiming for first edition to be 1,000 print run for that. And yeah, if you'll get 1 free card if you back it up, if we get to $11,000, which definitely seems like we're heading towards there. And we really appreciate if you check out the Kickstarter. We've been working really hard on it, and we're super stoked about it. 15 days left now.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I wanted to talk about is Slice of Life, which is the webtoon that me and Phil, who works on The Haunting, just announced. And I could actually show you here. It's a free comic you can read. So if you don't have the money but still want to support, this is the webtoon where it's about an anime protagonist who comes to life and falls in love with a high school cheerleader. So it's a romance drama, and the artwork is gorgeous. This is just a teaser. The actual comic is coming out on a weekly basis, July 12th. Val, who does the artwork, has done just a gorgeous job. Let's show you the cover of the book. There's the cheerleader and our main protagonist. It's called Slice of Life. And during the show, I'll be sharing the link. And again, it's free, so you don't even have to pay for it. So there's nothing you'd have to do besides subscribe.
Yeah, and let me say I did read the teaser, and it is really good.
Thank you.
I subscribed right away. I would have anyway, but I'm excited to read the rest of the comic. So yeah, that's really cool. Congrats on that as well. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a lot going on. We're super busy, and yeah, we're stoked for that story. And in particular, it will take you on a lot of twists and turns, like all our stories. So definitely go check it out. That's it for me. I know there were some questions, so I'm going to scroll up before we go to Under the Radar. So first question was from Terry, who says, guys, which characters would you like to see new creative teams work on? And can new creators save a low-selling book? For sure, yeah. The last one, yes. I think we've seen it happen many times. New creative teams, there's a couple books. Teen Titans, I know you guys have been enjoying that, but I have not been enjoying Teen Titans.
Academy.
Yeah, Academy.
Yeah. That would be fine.
Justice League.
Yeah, for sure.
100% Justice
League. Man, I don't know. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but New Warriors. I would love a new version of New Warriors with a new creative team. Yes. I'm trying to think of like lesser characters like that I would like to see come back. There was a character. I don't know how many years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago, named Gravity at Marvel. And I thought it was a really promising character. It had a mini-series collected in the trade, and then he popped up in a couple of different places. But I thought there was a lot of promise with that character. I'd love to see somebody pick that character up and do something with him.
Chris, did you have any in particular?
Just Justice League, honestly, at this point.
Justice League is definitely a good one.
It needs a new team. It needs new everything, a new point of view going forward.
We also have a question for Sweet Exorcist. Is everyone excited for Loki tonight?
Yes.
I haven't even watched Winter Soldier. So Brant is caught up, so he's excited for Loki. I heard it got good reviews.
I can't watch it because I have to wait for Lisa. She's at the other. I'm in the process of moving, and I'm at the old house. She's at the new house for one more night. So I gotta wait at least until tomorrow. So.
Hopefully it's worth the wait. I'm sure it will be. But those are all the questions. Are you gonna say
I was just
anything
going to say, I saw something today that said Loki was going to have more of an impact on the MCU than the other shows.
else? Which is crazy, especially
Yeah.
looking at WandaVision.
Right. Yeah. So that makes me even more, stoked for it. I'm excited. So.
I'm excited to binge all of them. As I told Brant, I'm like on episode 4 of Invincible, and I've enjoyed binging with my friends for that one. So I might do the same for like Winter Soldier. There's a show I love on Netflix called Feel Good. I love the first season. I'm only on episode 2 of that show. It's only 6 episodes and they're 20 minutes long. So that's kind of where I'm at. Also
Wow.
didn't remember to do under the radar top 5, and you guys know I'm always on top of that. So the mind is going a little crazy with all these projects.
I think everybody's busy around this time of the year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Speaking of, let's go into that top 5 under the radar. This is actually from one of our Kickstarter backers suggested this.
Oh, that one. Yeah. Sorry, I put up the wrong
before
thing.
we go
It
to
is
the
under
real
the radar.
under
It's
the
going to
radar.
bring us right into under the radar anyway. So
Exactly.
Yeah. So let me. I'm doing a banner real quick. And these are. This was recommended by Sinner, which was a backer on our Kickstarter for Comic Book Weekly, and it was a top 5 sleeper or unknown comics non-big 2, and so we're gonna just kind of go down real quick and talk about 5 books that we really like that are not from Marvel or DC. So I'll start. My number 5 is actually from Oni Press. It's The Sixth Gun, which almost got a TV show.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like Sixth Gun.
Yeah, it was a really cool book about a haunted gun. Kind of a Wild West feel, but it had the supernatural bend to it. It was a really cool series. So that's fine. Chris?
My number 5, I didn't put it in any particular order except number 1, but my number 5 goes to Saga. I've enjoyed the series. You got a mom and dad from 2 different sides of a war who have a baby, and now they're on the run from basically everyone. The series has taken a year plus break now. It's been longer than a year. They were supposed to come back after a year.
I think it's been like 3 years at this point.
At this point, yeah, because of COVID and everything. But I'm waiting patiently for the Saga to come back. It was a fun run. I enjoyed it. I mean, they made it a point to put something in each and every issue. I remember that was a topic that a lot of people talked about, and a lot of reason why a lot of people bought it, to see that one moment in each issue. But I enjoyed the story, and I look forward to when they get back onto it and we find out more. Every season, the baby got older and older. Started off as a baby. Now she was a young girl when we last left. So I'm guessing now we might go into teenagehood if we ever get back to Saga at this point. I hope we do.
Mm-hmm.
I love Saga.
Yeah.
I did not do the ones that were from the past, but if there's any books from the past, just Paper Girls. Go read Paper Girls. It's the most important book. But I am doing books that are currently out now. So my number 5 is Stillwater from Chip Zdarsky Image Comics. And I read this book kind of on whim, and it's, in some ways, it kind of has a Walking Dead vibe to it, just because it's like a community-based book. But I love the idea of them all being immortal. That's kind of fun, and the artwork's really good, and you just don't know where that book's going. So I enjoy it.
Nice. All right, so my number 4 is a book that many people probably have not heard of, but I recommend going to check it out. It's from a company called Drumfish Productions, and it's called The Neverminds. And the entire series is on Comixology, so you can find it there. I fell in love with this book when I was reviewing a lot of indie books for comic related back in the day and writing an article and stuff. And I stumbled across this, and it was just like top-notch art, like gorgeous art. And it was about 3 women that had different powers. I think one was water-based, one was fire-based, and one was I can't remember what the third one was, and there may have been 4 girls, I don't remember. But it was just a really cool book. I remember just really enjoying it back then. I would love to read it again to kind of refresh my memory. But when I was thinking about under the radar kind of sleeper stuff, I was like, man, Neverminds. That always comes to mind when I think about those kind of books. So go check that out on Comixology if you can. Chris.
Number 4 goes to G.I. Joe. Grew up with it, loved the series. They had 2 different stories going on. I believe one ended. I have not seen IDW producing it anymore. But they still have G.I. Joe, a Real American Hero. It continued from where the Marvel series left off and moved forward in its own direction. I grew up watching G.I. Joe on TV, so that's my guilty pleasure. I know Brant loves G.I. Joe as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So
yeah.
I love the series, and there's so many spin-offs that came from it, the crossovers between all of the older cartoons and the IDW. It's just a really fun guilty pleasure read for me.
Yeah, I don't talk about it a lot because I feel like I just talk about it too much. But
you don't talk about G.I. Joe at all, I feel.
Anymore now, yeah. I used to. But yeah, I was the only one reading it at the time. So
and now I'm reading it. Now I've caught up. Now I'm like having a good time with it.
Yeah, I just wanted to share this screenshot real quick. This is Nevermind's.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Are they still are these creators doing anything still or not really?
I don't know if they are or not. Just trying to get to the characters because these character designs are really cool.
Yeah, the art from what I'm seeing from the slideshow looks pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's part of what pulled me in was just the art. Talk about professional quality here. But anyway, I just wanted to share those real quick. But yeah, G.I. Joe's cool too. I love G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe is like one of my favorite things. It's like I always say that of all the comics that I will not get rid of, G.I. Joe is at the top of the list. So, all right. So where are we at, Kat?
I think we're on my number 4. Mine's Firepower. So that book's been really good. The last couple issues have been a little slow, but it's definitely one of Kirkman's best books from the beginning because I think, Invincible, that's one of my favorite indie books of all time and obviously as the show, but the beginning was kind of slow for Invincible for me and the show has done a better job at quickening the pace for that, but this from the start really flows really well for the plot and you get into the characters and it's about this family going through the motions when, their dad's like this prodigy firepower martial artist and his past is following him. And it's a great book with tremendous artwork.
Yeah, I completely agree about Firepower. I know, Chris, you're behind a little bit, but it's such a good series. I mean, I'm blown away by how much I love that series. So, all right. So my number 3 is a current book. So we're getting into some current books from Boom Studios, 7 Secrets, which the last
that was on my list as well.
Yeah. So Firepower is actually on my list too. But yeah, 7 Secrets is just, I mean, Tom Taylor, man, I wonder if that guy can do much wrong. he creates, such, I don't know, complex but rich characters that you just get attached to right away. And I think that's the charm of it. You're already pulled in by these characters, even when you find out they're dying. At the beginning of the series, the main character is dying. Going to die by the end. And it's like, okay, but I'm invested. And I want to know everything about these secrets and these briefcases. What do these do? And the places that the story has gone, even though that there was that one issue that we were all like, what the heck is going on? So that was like Grant Morrison level, out there. But it's just a fantastic, fun series. That's a lighter read, but there's a lot going on. So
it's definitely an anime come to life from artwork to writing, and I think that's what I love the most about it. Is that it's in some ways not like Avatar: The Last Airbender, but the way Avatar made influence from anime to an American television show. This was so influenced to manga / anime to make an American comic from an Australian. Right.
Yeah. Wrap your head around that one. All right, Chris.
My number 3 is the only book that is ending actually tomorrow, and that's Birthright. I've loved Birthright since the beginning. This last arc has been a bit slower, but I feel like it's more of a send-off arc. But Birthright has been amazing since issue 1. Brant actually I think we had to read it for Zone 4, and that's why I read it, or else I would have skipped right over it, and I fell in love with the series. So Birthright has just been amazing since issue 1.
Yeah, it's not on this list because I figured like it wasn't, for me, it wasn't like a sleeper book anymore. But yeah, that's like one of my top indie books of all time.
That's what I did. I did top indie books. My next My next two will not be sleeper ones. Everybody's next two.
That's totally fine. I think we all three took different approaches to this, so that's cool. So you're hearing about a lot of different cool books then. So what's yours, Cap?
Mine, Shadecraft. I've been so surprised with this book. Like issue 1, I'm just like, oh, this kind of seems cool. And then the journey we've been taking from just 3 issues, like last week it was my pick of the week. I really enjoyed the book, and I like that already we're getting to a point of the mythology building with these shadows and being connected to our main character, because it's about this girl who has shadows following her, and her brother comes to life, and spoiler alert for the last issue, we find out it might not be actually her brother, man. Which is crazy.
Shocker.
That was like, oh, that's not your brother. Oh no.
I know, it was so sad. I'm like, damn, we're only up to issue 3.
It was so good. That was one of the books that I was like, oh, we can't talk about that because we're not on a show.
I was upset mostly for that book. I was just like, oh, it was so good.
It was a good issue. Yeah, I agree. Great series so far. All right, so going on to our number 2's Firepower was mine, so we already talked about that one. So what's yours, Chris?
Spawn. The only series that I read the first 100, they killed Spawn. I didn't really like whatever Downing his first name was. Dropped out of the series for a good 60 issues while he was Jim. It was Jim Downing. Dropped out of the series while he was Spawn. Came back when Al Simmons came back, and I've been on the book ever since. I think I had to stop reading it once because the artwork really got convoluted, but now it's been going great. We got Spawn Universe coming. We've got 2 other books that are going to be connecting to Spawn. So basically, we're going to have a Spawn Universe book every week of the month. Spawn is an amazing character, Todd McFarlane's baby, basically. And his book still remains at $2.99, which is a huge plus for the book. And the character itself, I mean, the character has evolved and changed throughout the years, and it's been very strong. I don't know many people who started Spawn who have dropped it.
Cool. All right. And Kat?
My number 2 is 7 Secrets. We already talked about it.
Oh, okay. Cool. All right. So my number 1 is a book that comes back in miniseries every so often. There hasn't been one for a while, but that's Faith from Valiant. I absolutely love that book. I love that character. I got so attached to her when she showed up in Harbingers, and then they broke her off into several miniseries since then, and every single one of them is just fantastic. I can't get enough of Faith. I highly recommend Faith. And her only power, I think, is flight. But the cool thing is she's one of us. She's a geek, a nerd. She's into all the nerd culture stuff. And, she geeks out about team ups and all this kind of stuff. And she's always quoting different pop culture shows and movies and stuff like that. And it's just, you feel like this person. I think that's the charm of the character.
I also want to say hi to Mike, who's in the comments. Hi. So, hello,
hey, what's up, Mike?
He might not be visually with us, but he's in the comments. And yes, we do miss you.
In spirit.
All right, so Chris, what's your number 1?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Of course.
No one. I mean, I've been crazy.
Such a sleeper book, that one.
Listen, I don't care. It's too good. And there are so many people who still haven't even tried it yet. And it's been out for so long. Since issue number 1, it's been amazing. Past issue 100. So many twists and turns in the series, and there's still twists and turns going on in the series. We got a new turtle, a 5th turtle, and it's been an amazing ride. I mean, Last Ronin is a side story or a mini series going on from TMNT, but ever since this series started up, TMNT just rose in the comic book world again, and that's why I believe it deserves a number 1 spot. And if you haven't tried it, you really should. The collector's edition hardcovers, I don't care that I own the single issues. I've been getting all the hardcovers as they come out. It's a wonderful addition to anybody's shelf.
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, I'm a huge TMNT fan since I was a kid, but I never read the original stuff. I read the Archie run, and I didn't pick this series up until issue 100. So, yeah, I do highly recommend it, though. It is a really good series. And
my number 1 is Radiant Black. Damn, this has been a crazy book where you think it's one thing, and then you find out possibly it's he wasn't even our main hero the whole time. It's this kind of combination of Power Rangers and Invincible, and it feels familiar and unique all at the same time, and that's a super hard thing to approach with a superhero book and indie books. And it succeeds here.
That blew my mind. That change, that cliffhanger is like, oh my god, he's dead, and it's not him, it's the other guy. What? I did not see that coming. Hi guys.
So Mike, we're not up to even the comics yet, so it might be
up to the comics.
Yeah, this was our bonus topic. Yeah, we haven't even got to the comics
we're
yet.
about to get to the comics. We're gonna have to go through the comics a bit fast because we're running through.
Yeah,
we don't have as many big books this week, so
no, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also it's just 3 of us.
Yeah, but we appreciate the topic suggestion center, and thanks for backing the Kickstarter, and hope you enjoyed our picks. So,
and name changes says Power Rangers is good. Also, it is good. Actually, it almost made my list, but I thought it was a little bit too franchisey, so I didn't pick it because I'm like,
it fell short of my list. I would say like if we went to like top 10, it would definitely be in the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good book.
Yeah. So moving from that under the radar to the under the radar for the week.
This week I do not have an under the radar book. It was very weak, a very weak week for me. That is so hard to say. Not too many big books for me, but I didn't have one. I'm sorry. So I'll move on to Brant. Brant, what was your under the radar this week?
Mine was Black Cat, number 7. There were some other choices, but they were in our big book, so I couldn't pick them. But Black Cat was really good. Felicia had to make a very hard choice in this issue. She had to save the city of Manhattan, which was going to be destroyed by an ancient god due to Black Fox giving this god the deed to Manhattan in exchange for immortality for himself and Felicia. Felicia had to choose to either let Manhattan be destroyed or sacrifice Fox, who is her mentor, her good friend, and she made that choice to save Manhattan and everybody in it. And it was a heart-wrenching, tear-jerking episode that kind of saw Felicia being a hero, in that instance. So it was a really good issue.
Kat, what was your under the radar?
Mine was Family Tree, issue 12. Mike reads the book, but no one else here does. But I thought it was a really solid ending about life where we get to see the mom die, which was kind of crazy, and reunite with her daughter, and then the son's baby also kind of being this tree creature and showing that maybe life won't end, but we'll all evolve and we'll look different years to come. So I thought it was a good ending. Some of the parts were a little rushed for me, but I still think this is a really solid book if you're looking for a maxi series like this. It's 12 issues, so go check it out.
Cool.
So we're on the top 5, which we didn't actually discuss who was running that down, but since
we did
Chris
not.
Brant, why don't you do the top 5 this time?
You go ahead.
Yeah,
you do the top 5 this week.
All right, so it's time to talk about those big books in top 5 and see where our picks landed this week. And like Kat said, we don't have a whole lot of big books, but there were some cool books that came out this week.
There were some good books, yeah.
Yeah. So let's start with all the Hellfire Gala stuff. Hellions was the issue 12, Marauders issue 21, and X-Force issue 20. This was the start of it, and I actually really enjoyed these, except X-Force. I think that was the least one of the 3 for me.
I think I didn't like
read all 3. I
Hellions
didn't know it
most.
started this week.
You didn't?
I was off the loop. I didn't know it started. See, we didn't do
well.
the show last week, and we didn't talk about most anticipated.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah,
so Marauders was oversized, and it was the introduction to it, which it was oversized because they included that backup story that was like a reprint that I did not read. It was kind of a slower issue, but there were some fun moments in it, kind of setting things up for the other series. But so we got all of Emma's costume changes throughout the wardrobe changes throughout the night.
I didn't like the artwork as much for this.
I know,
so
right?
I was like, damn, why didn't they get that other artist? It would have looked better.
It was so weird because, I thought Kate Pride looked good. She was drawn really nicely, but Emma Man, she was drawn funky, and her breasts like went up like 3 sizes in this issue. I don't know what was going on there, but
I also feel like the whole artwork in general was really plain, and I do agree with that point as well.
Right?
It's just like this artist was never my favorite for Marauders. Mike says I liked it also. Hellions was my least favorite. I agree. Hellions was my least favorite. I don't read Hellions, but also like
I don't either. But
I don't love Hellfire and Gala yet. I feel like it was kind of a slow start. It was what we predicted. It was like, okay, here's a little piece of the night.
Yeah, exactly. And they did tease like something big happens, and it makes a lot of people uncomfortable or unhappy or uneasy or whatever. So we get that. So it's going to be drawn out, and we're going to have to play that long game with it. But yeah, it was kind of a little bit slow. I wanted to look up like all the celebrity appearances because at first I forgot they were doing that, and then I
think they
noticed
have a list. They have a list somewhere.
Yeah, so I want to see what the list is because I didn't recognize a whole lot of people. So I was like, "Who's that? That's got to be somebody." They got this one-liner there. This got to be somebody. But it was cool seeing all the characters pop up and do their thing a little bit. But it was mainly a big giant tease. The whole thing, all three issues. But Hellions, for whatever reason, I thought was hilarious. I just had so much fun with that. Orphan and Nanny or whatever her name is, they were hilarious. Just so funny. Like the one that looks like an egg. She's like wanting to kill Sinister, just like, guess it's on, let's go. I'm gonna cut his head off, and and Orphan's trying to get drunk, and it was just funny. I thought there was a lot of funny parts about it, but I agree it was a little bit slow. Yeah.
We do have some comments from Mike who says Emma had the X boob window. He also added, you do get to see the cracks between them.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. And they're, they kind of, they were definitely interconnected, and they retold a lot of the stuff between X-Force and Marauders, from different perspectives. I don't think we needed the Deadpool Wolverine fight. That seemed completely pointless to me.
But I thought the art was better in X-Force. But then there's times where the facial expressions were weird in there. I don't know. I hope the next chapters for me picks up a little bit. It was just, like I said, a little slow.
I have never liked the art in X-Force this run. The way, especially if you look at Domino, her head and her arms are like really small, and the rest of her body is like normal size, and it throws me off every time I see it. I don't like it. But yeah. So let's move on from that to Crush and Lobo, issue number 1. I thought this was a really good issue. I
enjoyed this issue.
Yeah, I love the way it was framed, the way she was narrating it. Like, I'm not in charge of these things. I don't know how this is supposed to go. Is this good story structure? Nah. But this is this is how I'm telling it. I love that. I love the way that it was told to us in her perspective.
I like that it was a romance story in the end, and I didn't expect that because I knew like this girlfriend was going to be involved by it, like that was going to be the full narrative, and I liked obviously the contrast of like she's a normal girl with parents that care and good friends and a big party and obviously rich, and then we get to see that like she's also perfect, she doesn't get angry at Crush and Crush breaks it off because she's like, oh, she thinks she's done wrong. And I'm curious to see where that relationship ends up going and how Crush needs to improve on herself, which will be interesting to see. Love the little moments between her and Red Arrow. I love Lobo. I thought it was just such a well-crafted book. It's like, it's where Mariko shines the most is what was written here.
Yeah. And her girlfriend's name is Katie. And I love Katie. And I think it's, the perfect compliment to Crush because she is so kind of easygoing and normal and everything, and they didn't really break up. Crush is, like you said, just feels like they did, and she just asked her to leave the party. At least that's all we saw. And she's like,
"Hey, I want to talk. Like, what's going on?" Just like, and then Crush is like, "Oh, we broke up." He's like, "They didn't break up," and it's just so interesting. I'm curious, like personally, how Crush is going to grow from that.
What did you think, Chris?
I liked it. I enjoyed the issue. It was one of the first books I read, and I like how Lobo's in the background. He's in prison, and he's asking for. I think he was asking for her to break him out, if I'm not mistaken.
There was some
kind of reached out to her. I know that.
Yeah, those therapy sessions that you could do, kids and parents, and he was asking her to come to that. But This was actually the last book I read. I read it right before we went live.
So it's fresh in your mind.
Yeah, totally. I wonder if Lobo's just trying to get her there so he can kill her.
Oh, there's something else there. But again, the little back and forth was really cool. Like, I just need to have therapy with you. You know?
Yeah,
we need to talk this out.
It was so out of character. That's why I'm like, he's up to
there's
something.
else.
Yeah.
I think there's something else to it, isn't it?
He's like, it's been really good for me. Wink, wink. Yeah. No, it was a really solid first issue. I'm totally hooked into the series now. So.
And the art was really good too.
Yeah.
Expressions.
Yeah, so good. And she has a lot of travel mugs, 31 to be exact.
There's so many.
All right, so moving into our top 5 with our number 5, mine was actually Hellions.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Kat, what was yours?
Mine was Batman, issue 109. The Batman's, it was good, but the Batman stuff, I was like, I don't care. And then we got to like the Harley and surprisingly Ghostmaker stuff, and I was like, this is really interesting. Yeah, I really liked it. Like, I enjoyed everything that's going on with the Gardener, like Poison Ivy. It was actually a really good exchange between the two. But then when we get to Peacemaker, I'm like, I don't care. Whatever.
Oh, I didn't even read it this time. I just skipped right over that.
Well, I mean, the cliffhanger of the Peacemaker.
Oh, the Peacemaker. Like, Ghostmaker. Yeah, I didn't read the Ghostmaker story, but the Peacekeeper stuff. I'm just like, man, please don't let Future State be the end game here. let's somehow change history here, or change the future here. But
history and the future.
Yeah, I agree, and I'll let you go, Chris. But I agree that the Harley and Ghostmaker stuff was the best part of it. I still love the way Barbara's drawn in this book right now.
Barbara, yes,
just beautiful art there, and I'm glad that we're finally done with the way that each issue has begun with him in this haze of Scarecrow. Fear toxin. Yeah. I'm over that, so I'm glad they're over it. But what did you think, Chris?
No, you all said everything that I felt. I love the artwork in the book. I love the way the story is going. I liked Haunt and Harley the most out of the whole thing. I did like the ending, though, where we're left off with Batman fighting this, I forgot, the Peacekeeper.
Peacekeeper. Peacemaker.
Peacekeeper. Whatever. Big robot dude. That's all.
Yeah.
No, I didn't read the backup story. I think I skipped. There was a backup story.
The Peacekeepers was all over Future State. They were running Gotham, the Magistrate, and they were their law enforcement. So that's where that's headed. So yeah, he was the first one, and obviously he's the one that in Future State supposedly had killed Batman.
Gotcha. Okay.
So,
well, hopefully they, like you said, undo certain things from Future State.
I really hope so. But that's all of us, right? Or did you? You didn't go, Chris.
I'm the only one who went, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I said mine, and go ahead, Chris.
Oh, right.
Mine goes to Crime Syndicate this week. It was a very, very weak week for me. So this week we had Power Ring, which is John Stewart Power Ring this time, and the formation of the Crime Syndicate, as well as the Legion of Heroes, I believe it's called, the Legion of Superheroes instead of supervillains. It was okay. It was strong. It was very much focused on John Stewart a bit as Power Ring, that the Ring is kind of making him believe he's doing the right thing, but in reality he's doing the wrong thing. So it's kind of opposite of what Hal Jordan was. Hal Jordan was a coward, and that's why Power Ring kind of sucked on his cowardice. Yeah. John Stewart wants to do the right thing, so the Ring is kind of perverting his idea of the right thing and making him do things that aren't right, and instead of helping people, he's making them more afraid of him.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Nice. I know you love the Crime Syndicate.
It's an interesting book. If I had more books, would it have fallen out of top 5? Yeah. And if I read the Gala, probably might have.
Yeah, I just know you love the team. You've always loved the
team.
Crime Syndicate.
Yeah, I love the Crime Syndicate versus Justice League.
Yeah. All right, so our next book we're going to talk about is, we were actually talking about this right before we came live, The Amazing Spider-Man issue 67. I had to get refreshed on what happened because that was one of the first books I read.
It's also very soap opera, this issue, and all issues. Yeah. So there's a lot of, you only get movement of small pieces of the story.
That's about
which is pretty much this whole run. But
well, they got to make it to issue 100,
Yeah, I guess I was right because I'm pretty sure I predicted it was Ned Leeds that was the father of the baby. Yeah, which is the obvious choice, right? So now is Ned alive?
That's the question. We don't know what's going on there, and like, did it have to do with clone conspiracy? And yeah, I actually liked this issue. It didn't make my top 5. It was actually close because we did have like the Ned stuff. I actually somewhat like the Teresa stuff as well. I want them to do something with that character better than they have in the past. So I thought this was a better balanced issue. And the Betty stuff is very interesting. Again, I think they didn't give us enough information for us to really make a conclusion, but it was an interesting stuff here.
Yeah, I wish the art had been a little bit stronger, though.
Yeah, I didn't really care for the art at first.
It was a little rushed.
I'm like,
Yeah. Other than that, it was a solid issue. You know, I didn't think I was going to like this chameleon stuff at all, but I also didn't realize Teresa Parker was going to be involved with it. And like you, I do want to see them do something with her. So, yeah.
Even though Teresa never interacts with Peter. She's always doing other stuff. Yeah. They don't have a relationship at all, besides like sometimes she pops up. They never talk about like being siblings.
Yeah, it's just, I want to know what happened to my parents. It's all about the parents and not about the sibling, the one that's still alive. Anyway, a book we talked about earlier a little bit, Firepower, issue 12.
Yeah. This
was oversized too.
This is oversized, and surprisingly, not a lot happened.
Yeah, I feel like you guys keep saying that with Firepower. I feel like by the time I'm ready to read the whole series, I'll be done like I'm reading one book.
Yeah, I know.
In the beginning, there's a lot that happens. So that's what's so surprising about these issues, especially why was this oversized?
It was so weird though, because I got to the end of it, I'm like, I thought this was oversized, and I look back and I'm like, it was. But it read just as fast as a regular issue. It's just, I guess the pacing. Yeah, there's not a lot of dialogue. There's a lot of action. Not even a lot of action in this issue. It was just a lot of still scenes. There was a lot of like when Waylon and the other guy, the leader of the bad guys, were talking. There was a lot of just like still frame emotion shots. So it was like sequence shots. So that kind of stuff carried it out a little bit. So you had a few pages where there was just, imagery and no dialogue, like Kat said. But there wasn't a whole lot that happened. It was like last issue is where the battle kind of ended, and this just kind of picked up and was like, yeah, it's over.
And that's it.
Let's move on.
That's it. We're done, everybody. Nothing to see here. Move on to the next issue. Yep.
So we did get some reveals, and I don't want to spoil them too much for you, Chris. So something that was supposed to be there wasn't there.
Spoil at this point because it feels like nothing else happened in this book.
It wasn't even that big.
Oh shoot! You know what I forgot? I'm so stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Keep talking. Go ahead.
Okay, so like the dragon. Yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, spoiler alert. Thank you. Yeah, we forgot to do that.
We forgot to do that. Sorry,
there will be spoilers. There have been spoilers. There will be more. So if you don't want to be spoiled, pause. You
should have already tuned out.
Exactly. But so the dragon, this dragon that they were convinced is there, that's being guarded and everything, is not real apparently, and it's not there. And then the statue they've been trying to get to come back to life maybe isn't real, but then maybe it is.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, okay, maybe the dragon does exist. Maybe it doesn't. Like, it was just kind of left on a cliffhanger, and like, okay, I guess. And the family's back being suburban people. Yeah,
but the interesting thing is that it didn't seem like his wife was too happy with this looming, hey, this could be my life again at some point. And we know that the girlfriend is alive now. He's not happy that she kept it from him. So there's tension there. But there's tension with the wife now that she's kind of fearful for her kids and everything. So it kind of makes me wonder where this is headed, where this family dynamic is headed, and if it's going to last, if it's going to survive this. So
yeah, that's definitely a big question mark. I am excited to see where it goes, because I think next issue is supposed to have a lot happen, but we'll see.
Yeah. All right, so let's get into our number 4s. And Chris, we'll start with you this time.
My number 4 goes to Batman Catwoman. I enjoyed this issue. Old woman Catwoman versus old woman Harley. You killed the Joker before I could. And I don't know, any of you Batman the Animated Series fans, if you caught it, you caught it. If you didn't, I'm about to catch you on it. When the past, where Catwoman's talking with, I forgot her name, the Phantom. There's a scene
Oh yeah.
where the chopper, from when Batman went after the Joker in the funhouse, the chopper that was chopping the salami, the robot, was in the background of several panels.
Yeah,
That was I
Phantasm.
saw that and I'm like, you really went that far into detail with the animated series. Okay,
Yeah.
that was cool.
Phantasm.
Mask of Phantasm.
Mask of the Phantasm. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember the woman's name. Andrea.
Phantasm.
Andrea.
No, oh, Andrea, her real name.
Yeah,
Okay,
her
sorry.
real
yeah.
name. Andrea.
Yeah.
So when they're talking, the machines in the back. I don't know why she saved that. It's kind of creepy as me. But, hey, dude, their own.
That's a nice little Easter egg, though. That's cool.
I loved it.
Yeah, I really like this issue too. It's not in my top 5, but I did enjoy it, and I think I actually gave it 4 stars. 3.5. I gave it 3.5. But the old woman Harley versus old Selena was just hilarious.
And then Huntress comes in at the end, and she's like, "So you had a busy day, Ma?" Huh?
Yeah, and as they were fighting, it's like Harley's mad not because she still loves the Joker, but because she killed him before Harley could. And Catwoman's like, you're too good to actually kill him. You've had all these opportunities. I'm bad enough to do it, so I did it. So it's like,
I did it for you. Be happy.
Yeah. This series got good after you dropped it, Kat.
It did. It really did pick up.
I don't know, man.
It's still all over the place.
It really did get good. I'm sorry. I'm glad I held on for another issue.
Me too. I'm still enjoying it. It is still all over the place, and it does, jump timelines constantly. But, I
got used to that by now.
I did too. Yeah. That doesn't even
Catwoman
faze
was
me
drunk
anymore.
in one panel, and then she was straight okay again in the other one.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I get this. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So what was your number 4 if it was not Batman Catwoman?
Mine was Family Tree. We already talked about it.
All right. And we already talked about mine too, which was Crush and Lobo. So moving on to the next big book, which we already talked about, which was Batman issue 109. We talked about that earlier in the show. Let's see. The next one is a book I'm excited to talk about. I know Kat is too. I don't know if you read it, Chris. The Nice House on the Lake, issue 1.
No.
This is from DC.
What company?
DC.
It's DC. It's James Tynion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely pick up that issue because I know Mike also really liked it too.
Yeah, it surprised I think all 3 of us so much. I tried it on a whim, and it because I'm always kind of iffy about these kind of books. I wouldn't know if you call this horror or not, but
it kind of reminded me of an Agatha Christie book more than anything. If I'm being honest.
Yeah,
like a mystery. Yeah, done it.
Yeah, but with like world-shattering,
existentialism.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about this. I don't even know. It starts off with this woman. It's not really horror. It's more.
Well, David disagrees with us. He says it's straight horror. I don't know. I think
it's more suspense and thriller.
It doesn't bother me horror.
It's more suspense and thriller, I think. So you get introduced to this girl. I forget her name. Ryan, maybe. Ryan Kane, I think was her name.
There's a lot of characters introduced here. But one thing I want to give a huge compliment to is the way they introduced it. It was really well done where I felt like I knew everybody, which is very hard to do in an issue like this.
Yeah, so we start off with her after all this has happened. So, she's kind of telling the story as to how they got to this point. So she's part of this friend group, and they've been meeting up at bars, just partying, relaxing, having fun. And there was always this guy named Walter who just kind of sat there and listened to everybody. And then they struck up this conversation after like so much time had passed and started talking about, he asked this weird question like, how do you think the world's going to end? And they start going back and forth with these scenarios in over the course of time, just kind of every time they would talk about this. And then out of the blue, after like not hearing from this guy for like 2 or 3 years, she gets this invite.
The artwork. I'm looking.
Yeah, the artwork's really nice.
The artwork was splendid. It really fit the book very well.
So I'm not going to give a whole bunch away, but she gets this invite to this lake house, and all these different people get this invite, and they get these code names. Like she's the artist because she's an artist, and they're all from different little sects that he has pieced together from different cities, from Milwaukee, from Brooklyn, from New York. And
they all know each other.
They all know each other.
Acquaintances, we'll call them.
Right, either from college or from work or from, they've met at parties or whatever. They're all connected. They're all around the same age, like mid to late 20s, early 30s. And they all he's like studied them for years. And so he pulls them all together. And then the world ends. And they're the only people left on the planet. And it's like,
and he seems involved in that.
And he's involved in it. He's caused it somehow. And it's like, what the heck is going on in this house? And so now you got to find out how they got to the point that the book started at, where she's missing an eye, and she's, it's like post-apocalyptic and things are going crazy. And so it was a really solid first issue. It pulls you so totally into the mystery, and you're connected with a bunch of different characters. They all have very unique personalities, but they all kind of mesh, and
relationships
some of them
with each other, which was cool to see. Like they're definitely teased some stuff for sure. Like there was one character where they like dated in high school, and that person transitioned, and that was really interesting. So a lot of really interesting stories, a lot of cool beats here, and I just want to see like how they react to it, because in the end they're like, get me out of this house, know. And like you said, how do you go to that beginning part? But I love, it grabs you. Like the dialogue work is splendid for this book, where he's just like, you're at a bar, you don't fucking talk about how do you think the world's gonna end, and you're getting a very unique perspective when you get something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And the conversations seem natural, and the kind of, at first their conversation starts how you think like a first date would start, right? Like you're just kind of, it's a little awkward at first. It's a little stilted, and then it gets more comfortable as they keep talking. It was really well written. So yeah, highly recommend that book. So
I agree. Yeah,
that brings us to our number 3s. Already, so I will start with mine, which was Marauders. I still liked it. I still had fun with all the Hellfire Gala stuff, even though it was a little bit slow. So there you go. What was yours, Kat?
Mine was A Nice House on the Lake.
There you go.
That was my number 3.
And mine went to Batman Fortnite. Batman started to get his memories back. So did Catwoman, but very little of them. And now everybody's talking, and now they're trying to figure out who them is and who's running the islands and what's going on. And,
poor fish stick.
Huh?
Poor fish stick.
Oh, poor fish. Oh, so you read this, or
Oh, of course.
So they're on the island. They won the Victory Royale, so now they're on this island where they stay, all of them. And one of the characters actually is from season 1 that Batman's talking with, and all the characters that have survived stay there. And if they leave that island, there's nothingness. So technically, they're still trapped. There's nowhere to go. So now they're trying to figure out how to get off that island, what's going on, who's controlling it. They talked about events that happened in Fortnite, which was really cool. And turns out one of them, all the characters, is a traitor. And I love how they had to take Thor and turn him into a Viking instead, because that takes place because they can't mesh the Marvel stuff that happened. So Thor is like a Viking instead of Thor. And like Brand said, one of them ends up dying and finding out that there's a traitor. So now we got to figure out who the traitor is. Somebody there did not get a victory royale. They were there from the beginning, and they're working with whoever's doing all of this.
Yeah, and you have Batman, Catwoman, and Deathstroke, and they all know that they know each other or have some kind of familiarity, but they don't know each other. And this was Mike will be happy with this one. If you haven't read it yet, Mike, this one had a lot of dialogue. So yeah,
they caught totally you up for those 3 issues of nothingness.
Absolutely. Yeah, this series is so freaking good, man. I just love it.
I hope they do one for because they have Superman in this season. I hope that they do another miniseries for Invasion. I think that'd be great. Bring Superman in this time.
Yeah, and the fact that they're unveiling secrets that you've been wondering about, like how is this happening? How are these things appearing on this world in Fortnite and stuff?
It's not just for DC, it's for Fortnite too. Anyone who wants more lore for Fortnite, there it is.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good. So I agree.
We do have a question from Empire Comics. Skipping all the Gala stuff, I thought it was going to be dumb. Should I pick it up? I think it's too early to tell if you should pick it
It's
up.
all a precursor. The first three,
Yeah.
what Brent and Kat are saying.
Yeah, pretty much. You can't. Hopefully, the next crop of titles tomorrow will give us a little bit more, and we'll be able to answer that.
There's only two
Yeah,
issues
Excalibur and X-Men. Yeah.
No.
So we'll see. That was all of us, right? You went, right, Kat?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Cool. All right. So next big book I did not actually read, which was Suicide Squad #4. I think, Kat, you're the only one that read
I
it.
think I'm the only one who read it. Yeah, I didn't quite like it. That's all I'm going to say, and I'm dropping the book.
Okay.
I'm just
There
not
you go.
really...
I skimmed
it.
I skimmed it because I wanted to make sure I knew something of what's happening. I have to still read Teen Titans Academy. That's why from last
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It's just like it's the same complaint over and over again. It's like, where is this going? And if I'm not reading Teen Titans Academy, I definitely don't want to read about the Red X stuff. So I'm just gonna drop it for now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess Chris and I will have to reserve our opinions for when we actually catch up.
I'm gonna stick with Suicide Squad until after the full crossover. After that, it's Connor. That's the only reason why. I wish they put Connor in Teen Titans Academy, and that make me feel a little bit better about sticking with Teen Titans Academy.
That's why they put him there, though, so people keep reading it.
Oh,
I know, but I mean, how much can I take before I say, you know what, I love Connor, but this is not going anywhere.
Yeah, I'm about at that point, and we'll see how I feel about this issue once I actually.
I think it's not a horrible.
I don't know.
book.
I feel like DC's pushing towards. They did Future State. Now they're pushing towards. They went back into the regular time. They went back to normal, present day, and now they're just pushing right towards Future State instead. So we got the end of the story before we got the beginning, and then when we get to Future State, what are they going to do? Do another reboot?
And they got to do something because everybody died. I mean, a lot of people died.
Exactly. So it's either you're going to reboot or that's it.
Yeah, or they got to figure out how to stop it. I don't know. It's weird.
That would be better. Figuring out how to take Future State and prevent it from happening.
Yeah, exactly. But that means somebody would have had to be there and come back and remember it. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Our next book we're going to talk about is from Image, Noctera #4, which was another really good issue, I thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. This picks up even more, and we have a nice cliffhanger where we get to see a tunnel, light at the end of the tunnel there of hope, maybe.
Yeah, just when we thought hope was lost, because they get to the place and it's like it's not there. Oh no, what are they going to do? Her brother's almost turned completely. Man, it was so good, and I don't know. I love that they keep flashing back to different points, showing how they got out of the situation, how they got to where they are. So, like, we've seen them back at the house with the parents before. We got another little piece of that. We
got a big piece of it too.
Yeah,
it was pretty much spelled out that she killed them to save,
exactly,
her brother.
because she chose his way and to wait for the bad door to open instead of the good door. So yeah, she had to do that. So their parents are gone. If they weren't gone before, they're gone now. So yeah, that was a huge reveal there. So I just love the way this book has come together too. It's just, and we got just a little bit more about Blacktop Bill. He's got some kind of chemical bonded to his skin, and that's why he's all black. And we still don't know if he's like the legend of that same character, if he just took on that name or what's going on. But yeah, good book.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to our number 2s. Mine, we just talked about Batman Fortnite 0 Point. So Chris, what was yours?
Batman 109. We already talked about it.
All right, and Kat?
Crush and Lobo. We already talked about it.
Nice. Moving on to our last big book was also Batman Fortnite, so right into our number 1s, and mine was The Nice House on the Lake. So there you go, Kat.
Mine was Immortal Hulk issue 47. We have not talked about it, and might have been a surprise pick there. I really enjoyed this issue. It was all from the perspective of She-Hulk, so it's the Avengers versus Hulk, and obviously She-Hulk's kind of torn apart here because she's like, that's my family, this is my team, who do I go with? And in the end she picks the Hulks, and it is just really well written. And then by the end we also get a little tease of Betty and Bruce maybe getting back together, but the dialogue works really well done. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And I really like that they shifted the perspective, because I think that's what really made this unique and different, and, makes me excited to get to issue 50.
Nice. I know you've been kind of iffy on the series.
It hasn't been in my top 5 in a long time, so
while.
I'm happy I enjoyed this issue.
Yeah. And Chris, what was yours?
My number 1 goes to Lobo and Crush.
Nice.
I like the first issue enough that I'm definitely hooked on this miniseries.
That's awesome. A lot of love for Crush and Lobo. I probably shouldn't have put Marauders as high as I did. But, in retrospect, yeah, I kind of am, because I was like, man, I didn't even put Noctera up in there, or Black Cat, or any of that stuff. And
it's been a busy week for you, Brent, so
I was literally, like, as we were going live, I was still sorting my my rankings here. So whatever. It is what it is, and I'll stick by it. But that's our top 5. So on to the chopping block.
The chop block, and I don't have anything to chop. I'm sure Kat just said what she's chopping, so we'll start with Kat.
Suicide Squad. Yeah, just Suicide Squad this week. Don't need it.
Don't want it. Don't love it. Brent?
The only one I'm chopping, it's only had 1 issue, but I really did not like it, was Apex Legends Overtime.
Oh, I didn't even bother. I looked at it, and I was like, I'm not even going to read this to drop it.
I haven't played Apex. I have downloaded it, installed it, but I have not ever played it. So I was really curious.
It hurts a lot.
I know. I was really curious about it. And, Batman Fortnite was so good. I was like, okay, let's try this one too. And it's like, no, this is not.
No. Stick with Fortnite. Don't do it.
It got the lowest rating that I've given in a long time. Wow. So yeah, I'm dropping that one. So
I didn't even bother to break it up. So
yeah, I shouldn't have. But anyway, moving on to most anticipated then.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's start with okay. I covered up my window there. Let's start with the Joker. Issue number 4.
Last issue was a little weaker than the rest of the series, but I'm looking forward to seeing where this issue goes. I have a feeling it's going to pick up strong with this one.
I still liked the last issue. I agree it was weaker than the others, but the others were so good that I still enjoyed last issue. So I'm excited. I think it's a more solid book than Batman, and I am liking Batman. So
yeah, I like Batman and Detective, and I still think Joker is better. So yeah, very solid book. If you guys have not tried out the Joker, you need to. It's so good. All right, we got Star Wars Bounty Hunters number 13. This is the second part. Right? Second part? Because War of the Bounty Hunters number 1 came out this week.
Right. War of the Bounty Hunters came out this week. It was a one-shot, I believe.
No, it was the first issue of 5-issue miniseries.
Oh, it's the first issue? Oh, I thought it was a one-shot. Okay.
No, the one-shot was Alpha. That came out a couple weeks ago or something. Okay. I'm getting confused where everything's playing. Because I
know. It's just
I actually forgot about this book until like the last minute. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. The War of the Bounty Hunters is good so far. It's a slow start, but we got this week's issue. Boba Fett found out that there was a bounty on him, so I guess we're going to pick that up in Bounty Hunters. So there we go. All right, Chris, you talked about TMNT earlier, and we got 117 coming out tomorrow.
Next issue's coming out. I'm enjoying TMNT so much. I played a binge read to all the stuff that's been going on with TMNT right now. We got a lot of stuff going on with the future being messed up. We had Togon Razor. There's so much really good stuff. I can't wait to see where we're going. I think we're starting either a new arc or we're in the second part to this arc.
Have they had the Battle of the Bands yet?
The Battle of the Bands was the last issue. That's right. So they had the Battle.
Did they actually play though? I don't think they actually played last issue.
I don't think they played. I don't remember. That was last month, man.
So are they playing? So are they playing this issue? I don't know.
Maybe.
What's going on
I don't know.
Who knows?
I remember that they were setting up for it.
Right, but I didn't think they actually played. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe we're both wrong, and it's going to happen this issue. I can't remember off the top of my head. We didn't do. I think I missed that CBW. That's why I don't remember it as much. So I read it and just forgot about it.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. We just talked about this a minute ago. Detective Comics, 1037. Mysteries.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's the Sarah Worth one, right? I get the two books mixed. We just read Batman, so it has to be that
There's so much Batman. I just think of Dan Moore's art, and it kind of like brings me into that story.
Yeah.
But Yeah, it's the mystery of Sarah Worth, who killed her. Is she dead? Then we had the Lady Clayface stuff, which was really super interesting. Huntress is there.
And Mr. Oh yeah, that's I love Huntress. That meshing the backup story that we were getting into the main story because it connects to that person that died. Yeah, I like the way that came together too. And Mr. Worth is not a happy guy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either. So I can understand that one.
But man, he seems like a very I don't know, formidable regular guy. So we'll see what's up with Mr. Worth. Let's see. We'll go to Birthright number 50. Last issue, final issue. Hopefully something picks up with this issue.
It better. All I'm saying
my
is
goodness.
this issue dies. If it dies on a sour or a boring note, I'm pissed because we had 40 plus issues of good stuff, and then this arc, it could have ended last issue and we could have been happy.
These last two issues were maybe last three were so slow. Last issue was literally they found their parents, looked around Terranos, had to go back home, had to make a sacrifice. That was it. It was like, okay. Yeah. But, yeah, we get one more issue.
Oh, yeah, there's that warlock woman out there. We got to stop her. We got to make sure she's okay. How are you going to do that in one issue unless it better be a double size then?
Something big better happen this final issue.
Tease another volume.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Something big, major better happen. So, and that would be fine. Spin it off.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, new volume. Say, we're taking a year off, volume 2, Birthright, volume 2. Fine, good job. But no, if you're just going to end it, the end, this is the end of the story, it better be good.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. All right, so we got a new number 1 with a web. That's W.E.B. of Spider-Man number 1.
Interesting. I'll try it.
Yeah. It's based on the ride in Disneyland.
Yeah. But it looks interesting, so I wanted to give it a shot. I'm always up for a new Spider-Man title. Are you going to try it, Kat?
I don't think so. Because I think it's just going to be very fillerish.
It might be.
But you'll have to let me know. If it's a great Spider-Man story, I'll give it a shot. But if it's just, by the numbers that I'm kind of expecting, I'm going to probably skip it.
Yeah. And then another number 1 is Archie 80th Anniversary, Everything's Archie. I'm only trying this because Fred Van Lente is writing it. And I forget, a known artist is drawing it too. I can't remember who it is now.
Is it a digest or is it an actual issue?
I think it was an actual issue. Let me look it up real quick.
That's what when I was looking at it, I'm like, is it? I don't know.
It's supposed to start some new era for Archie Comics, though. That's got me intrigued. I hope so, because
Archie hasn't been doing anything for a while. Like the regular series. Like it stopped since COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And Mark Waid started off with such a great, new era for Archie, and then they changed it to the other thing that I wasn't really feeling. That kind of resembled
all that drama.
Riverdale. Yeah. Let's see. It's a one shot, $3.99. First issue in an all new series of 80th anniversary one shots. Finally, Archie declares his true love, and it's a very expensive guitar.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's Dan Perrin is back doing the art. So it's like classic Archie style, but Fred Van Lente is writing it, which is interesting. So I don't know what direction they're taking it or like what other one shots we're going to get. But yeah,
I'm skipping.
I know you are, but yeah, I'm going to give it a shot.
Know if it's worth it.
Yeah, for sure. And then we have this one we're all excited about. Heroes Reborn, Night Gwen, number 1.
That one is the one that everybody was telling me to read along with the Spider-Man one. So I'm looking.
The Spider-Man one was so good. I am really looking forward to this. I know it's going to be not obviously Gwen herself, but it's the only thing I needed to read for Heroes Reborn. I've been stoked. So I'm really excited.
I mean, it's her as Batgirl basically. That's what we've been talking about since they released that cover image. It's like, that's the one you got to read if you read any of them, any of those side ones anyway. Because the few that I've read so far have not been great. But the Spider-Man one was good, but yeah. And the last book we have to talk about is DC Pride, number 1.
Obviously looking forward to this one. I hope it's a solid book, and I'm curious to see which one's going to be better, Marvel or DC. The one thing I'll say about DC is that I'm happy that they're doing some of their A-list heroes, we'll call them, but like Poison Ivy and Harley are definitely big heroes, and they're in the forefront. But I feel like Marvel didn't, they didn't have Kitty Pryde, they didn't have Star-Lord, and that's very disappointing. And I'm curious to see how they both tackle their stories.
Yeah, it's interesting the different directions they're taking with that. Like Marvel's doing more the lesser known characters, right, or new characters.
Yeah, and, Carolina Nico's in it. Trying to think, I think Prodigy, characters that comic fans know. Like I love Carolina and Nico, but not everyone knows those characters. And I feel like with a Pride anthology, it is kind of not just aimed for comic readers. It is aimed for other people to go to the comic store. So it's a shame we're not getting the Star-Lords and Kitty Prydes notice there. So like you're celebrating Pride, but at the same time, it's like, but it can't be too big. So it's like it's already like, I don't know. It's a step backwards in my opinion.
Yeah. Is Mystique in it even?
I think Mystique's in it. I think she does. But they've also very much confirmed her sexuality.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But also, I mean, they've done it with Kitty and Star-Lord too. So I don't know. It just, we'll see.
I think they're gun shy with Kitty for some reason. I don't know why, but
I don't get it.
Yeah, but I'm curious to see what they do with them too. So I'm excited for that, and that is all of the most anticipated. So.
All right. With that, I guess we're heading out to the end of the show. So let's start closing out with stuff that we have coming out and going on. I'm going to go to Brant and Kat first in that order. So Brant, Kat, what you got going on?
I talked about earlier in the show. We got 2 Kickstarters. The puzzle one ends in 34 hours. So go check that one out at torchnightgames.com/wonderland. I'll try to put the link in the comments again. And the other one is Not So Fairy Tales. Is an anthology that I have a story in called Labor of Love. So go check that out. And aside from those, just remember that the audio version goes live on Fridays for Comic Book Weekly. So if you want to take it with you and listen to us all over again, you can find that anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you give us a 5-star review on iTunes, we will read that aloud on this show.
Yes. And for me, go check out the Kickstarter, Haunting Like Valley Daughter. We just got funded, but there's still a long way to go. We have 15 days left for that one. So hopefully you guys could go check it out. And also go check out my webcomic, Slice of Life. And that is free. So does not hurt to go subscribe and check that out. Also, the date for Buy Visibility is officially announced, and that's going to be August 30th. The Kickstarter is going to be launching, so we're really doing back-to-back Kickstarters for this. So yeah, all exciting stuff. Go check all those things out. And then tomorrow I have my comic book reviews, so look forward to that on Comic Uno.
And as far as I go, Dark Avenger Live has returned Monday Night Delight. So if you would like to pass by Dark Avenger C86, the beginning of the week, we're starting off with Dark Avenger Live again, where I talk about anything and everything in the Dark Avenger Nation. Come by, let's talk comic books, video games, what have you. Speaking of video games, Chaotic Falcon 86, we're going to be doing a few games this week. I have a few games that I want to continue with. We had Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 2 that just came out. The new season of Fortnite, like Brant and I were saying, I'll probably be showcasing a little bit of that. And hopefully finishing Resident Evil Village. I do have a symbol, a logo that was made for me by the awesome Hey Melon Bun. She is also a streamer on Twitch, but she's also an artist. She did a really nice logo for me that she made me a Pride Month version of, and I shared it on social media already. And on my Twitch channel, if you click that, it takes you to the Trevor Project, which is a helpline or suicide prevention line for the LGBTQ community, 25 younger, and that's going to be staying on my Twitch channel permanent. But that is my symbol for the month for June, for Pride Month. And then I'm going to be switching over to the main logo. Well, I'm not switching it on the channel, but I will share the main logo starting in July. And other than that, more stuff coming on Dark Avenger C86 soon. I'm working on stuff for ShootingStarUniverse.com, written stuff. Look forward to that. Shooting Star Presses, I believe is it this week, Brant, or is it next week?
I don't remember. we got off a week and it threw things off.
Brant's moving, so let's say no matter what, it's probably going to be next week.
Yeah.
So let's say it's next week.
That sounds good.
So subscribe to the newsletter if you like, where I'll be talking about all of this and more. And that's about all for right now for me.
All right.
So that's the end of the show. As always, guys, where is the... Don't forget to click that sub button, whether you're watching on Comic Book Weekly or Comic Book Corner 2.0's YouTube channel. Click that bell so you're notified whenever we go live or new content is posted. And then next to Brent over there, don't forget to click the thumbs up button. Give this video a thumbs up. Show YouTube you love it. And then follow us all across social media on all of our ads. And down below, Comic Frontline, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and, of course, right here on YouTube. Till next time, everybody, take care. Have a wonderful week. A happy new comic book day tomorrow. And we'll see you next time. For those of you watching, you're going to see this. But those of you who are listening, this is the waving part of the show where we're waving goodbye. Have a great week.